of allegiance.
City of Romulus City Council regular meeting for Monday, June 6th, and the roll will show that all members are present. Tonight's council meeting agenda is as follows. Number 1, agenda, 2, minutes, 3, petitioner, 4, chairperson's report, 5, mayor's report, 6A, clerk's report, 6B, treasurer's report, 7, public comment, 8, unfinished business, 9, new business, 10, communication, and number 11, adjournment. And a motion would be in order to accept the council meeting agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
The motion by Mr. Kraut, supported by Ms. Makowski, for approval of the agenda as presented. Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, agenda is approved.
Number 2 are the minutes, and for approval, under line item 2A, are the minutes from the regular council meeting held on May 23rd, 2016.
So moved for May 23rd, 2016.
Support.
A motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Abdo, for approval of the minutes from the regular council meeting held May 23rd, 2016. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Abstain, I was absent.
Okay, Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
There were no special meetings held on May 23rd, and there are no petitioners on the agenda. Number 4 is the chairperson's report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The chair is going to recognize Councilman Kraut.
Thank you, John. Spartan. I'm making a memorial resolution for Buddy Parton. He passed away Friday. He's a good friend of mine. He served in Vietnam. And when he was in Vietnam, they sprayed Agent Orange on him. He caught cancer, and half his throat taken away from him, and he died Friday.
A support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Kraut, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, for memorial resolution for Mr. Parton. Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved. I don't have anything tonight for my chairman's report.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion that we accept the report.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Mr. Kraut, to accept the chairperson's report. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved, and thank you.
Number 5 is the mayor's report.
Good evening, council, treasurer, clerk, deputy clerk, and audience. Start off my report, quick, short scripture that I picked from 1 Thessalonians, and it goes as this: pray without ceasing. And so I picked that one because I wanted to put a plug in for tomorrow. This is a concept that's actually called a community prayer breakfast. That it's a new event this year. I was kind of inspired. I went to St. John Lodge. They had a regular annual prayer breakfast. I know we do National Day of Prayer at the Monument, and I'm sitting there and thinking, it's a great way to start things off in the community. So trying something different. This isn't any fundraiser. This is just a way to start your day tomorrow. So we're going to be at the Romulus Athletic Center doing registration at 7:30, breakfast at 8. Proceeds from this are going to go to the Drug Task Force towards scholarships, any profit. So not a fundraiser, just a good time. So if you feel compelled, you're more than welcome to come out and join us at the rack tomorrow morning. We have a lot of events. We'll highlight a couple with the video clip. Roger, if you'd run that, please.
Hi everyone, I'm Jasmine Dancy, and here's what's coming up around Romulus. Sounds in Downtown begins this Friday at 7 p.m. in the Historical Park featuring the band Trilogy. There will also be a special presentation featuring the winners of the first Public Arts Contest. The Flag Day ceremony will be at the Senior Center on Tuesday, June 14th. Romulus Farmers Market begins next week, Wednesday, June 15th. And mark your calendars for the Romulus fireworks on Thursday, June 30th at dusk. Thanks, and have a great week, everybody.
Thank you, Jasmine. Thanks, Roger. So a lot of events going on. Those are just the highlights of a few. I just said that, Roger. Couple things I did want to bring up, and it was both an email went out today as well as in your executive summary that council received, but just a quick update on some staffing changes. As of today, effective, Julie Waitoko is my chief of staff / integrator. A little different role that doesn't have the HR piece. We're still going to be filling and looking for actively a part-time HR. We're working with Labor Council on that, but as far as office operations, integrator, chief of staff, she's in that role, so congratulations, Julie, well deserved. And then also Jasmine, who you just saw in the video clip, Jasmine Dancy, is taking over the vertical that Julie had prior to that. So all the community services like senior center, cable, recreation, and all those. So congratulations to Jasmine on that, stepping up. She's doing a great job. And it's just for council's sake, it's all within the budget and so forth, so I'm not looking for any additional. Actually, hopefully we do it right, we can possibly be even a savings to the budget. So just a note to that. I do have a lot of items on my report for action, so I'll jump to that if you don't mind. First one up is 5A, pretty cut and dry, but this is a no fee request by St. John's Lodge. That's for their annual walk. And that's going to be beginning at the Community Baptist Church, 1:30, ending at the Pentecostal Baptist Church, 2:15. June the 26th of this year.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support
Mr.
it.
Chair.
Okay. It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Mr. Kraut. This is for a no fee permit for St. John's Lodge. Mr. Abdo? Yes. Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you, Council. Next up is 5B, and that's a request to concur with administration award bid ITB 15/16-28, and that's to the overall lowest, most responsible and responsive bidder, Jack Demmer Ford. That's the acquisition of 2 vehicles for the City of Romulus Fire Department. The amount of $74,932.40 for those 2 vehicles. Those funds have been budgeted and available out of the Motor Vehicle Fund capital outlay.
So moved. Support. Question.
Been motioned by Ms. Makowski, I think it's supported by Mr. Wadsworth. And this is to concur with the administration award bid ITB 15/16-28 to the overall lowest, most responsible and responsive bidder, Jack Denver Ford, for acquisition of 2 vehicles for the City of Romulus Fire Department in an amount of $74,932.40. Discussion.
If I can, I guess I go to the mayor, to the deputy chief. Are these vehicles just going to be used for transportation or for equipment use?
Well, there's 2 different uses. So
2 different, I'm just curious.
So the 2 vehicles, one is a F-350, which is part of the second, or the third item on the mayor's agenda also, which will be, we'll be putting a skid unit, which is a pump and a tank in the back of that, and that'll be
Right.
replacing the mini pumper 314, which is a 1987 unit. And then the SUV is a replacement of one of the 2 administration vehicles.
Okay, very good. Fine. Thank you.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, and motion is approved.
Thank you, Council. And the next item is a lead into what our Deputy Chief just mentioned. This is the actual request to concur with administration, award the ITB bid 15/16-29 to the most responsive bidder, R&R Fire Truck Repair, Inc., for the acquisition of the mentioned skid mount utility unit for the fire department. Those funds have been budgeted and available out of the motor vehicle capital outlay.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Roscoe. And this is to concur with the administration award bid ITB 15/16-29 to the most responsible and responsive bidder, R&R Fire Truck Repair Incorporated. This is for acquisition of a skid-mounted utility unit for the City of Romulus Fire Department. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion is approved.
Thank you, council. Next item up is a request to concur with administration and award bid ITB 15/16-30. That's the lowest and responsive and responsible bidder, Greater Lakes Multimedia, and that's for the acquisition of a video camera pedestal system for the Romulus Cable Department. Total amount $14,332.50. Again, those are funds budgeted and available at the Cable Department capital outlay.
So move for bid 1516-30 for the video camera pedestal system.
So moved. Support.
Been motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Mr. Kraut. Concur with the administration award bid ITB 15/16-30 to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, Great Lakes Multimedia. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next item up is a request to concur with administration, award bid ITB 15/16-31 to the most responsive and responsible bidder, California Media Solutions, for the acquisition of 2 professional camcorders with tripod and accessories for the City of Romulus Cable Department. Total amount $15,018.00. Funds are budgeted and available at the Cable Department capital outlay also.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Roscoe, to concur with administration award bid ITB 15/16-31 to the most responsive and responsible bidder, which is California Media Solution. And this is for the acquisition of 2 professional camcorders with tripods and accessories for the City of Romulus Cable Department in less than the amount of $15,018.00. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next item is a request to concur with administration and award bid ITB 15/16-32, and that's the lowest responsible and responsible bidder, California Media Solutions, also for the acquisition of a wireless trolley system for the City of Romulus Cable. The amount is $4,503.00, and that funds are also available and budgeted out of the Cable Department capital outlay.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion for ITB 15/16-32 wireless trolley system for the Cable Department.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, and that's to concur with administration award bid ITB 15/16-32, and this is to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, California Media Solutions. And this is for the total of $4,503.00. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next item is a normal annual request, but it's a request to concur with administration and adopt the attached annual community resolution accepting long-term maintenance of stormwater management systems.
So moved.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Roscoe, to concur with the administration and adopt the attached annual community resolution accepting long-term maintenance of storm sewer management systems. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms. Choate.
could you have, ask the mayor to explain this, please?
Mayor.
Could you explain what we're doing?
Sure. I'll probably have, Roberto, do you want to talk about this one, please? Take it. There was a memo attached from Roberto on the second page in, but he'll give an explanation on.
Good evening,
this comes
council. Essentially what this is Wayne County requires an annual resolution for long-term stormwater maintenance agreements. So as we get developments in the city has to take over jurisdiction from Wayne County for the private development if the private development fails to maintain their system. And it's part of their drain ordinance, and inside the actual resolution, you can see it references chapter 4. But this resolution right here not only gives me and the assistant director authority to sign the stormwater maintenance agreements on a yearly basis. So in other words, we're not presenting to council every time we have a development that comes to the city. We provide this resolution once through the city or to council for a year, and I sign or Keith signs the agreements as the developments take place.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Roberto.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next item up is a request to concur with administration and authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into the attached relocation agreement with the Rawson Drain, which is required as part of the Wick Road reconstruction project at Vining.
So moved, Mr. Chairman, for the Wick Road Rawson Drain relocation agreement.
Support.
Motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Mr. Kraut. And this is to concur with the administration, authorize the mayor and clerk
Just a quick,
to enter into the attached relocation agreement for the Rawson Drain, which is required as part of the Wick Road reconstruction project at Vining Road. Any discussion?
just a quick question to Mayor, where I'm doing this so we won't have to do this in the future after we develop what's there on Wick Road.
Correct. Yeah,
This
it
is
would-
going on through, out to Van Buren.
This is an additional water supply line that's going to feed Van Buren and West, but their plan was the Great Lakes Water Authority to put an additional line in. We didn't want to do road work and
And then go
development.
back and tear it
And then
back
tear
up
up,
again. Okay,
a
right.
couple $1 million worth of, so it was pretty creative and complicated to get it to happen this way, but that's part of that project, yes, sir.
Fine.
Yes, Ms. Abdo?
Yes, is this the expense that the county is picking up?
They're picking up all costs, so we're,
Yeah, they're picking.
is this our portion or is that the, Roberto?
So the contract that was brought before Tifa for the reconstruction of Vining and Wick Road had the relocation of the storm sewer in it. So in order for us to build the road and realign the catch basins and all that good stuff, because now it's not the same geometrics, we had to move things around, and this agreement indicates that we now have the authority to do that, but we're absorbing the cost also in order to make our improvement.
So the county is not sharing in any of this cost?
The county is not sharing these costs, no.
Because I thought
It's all
originally
Tifa.
they were.
Not for the drain relocation, no.
Or the water line?
Yes, the water line that's being put in by us for the Great Lakes Water Authority, that is being reimbursed by the Great Lakes Water Authority.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks,
thank
Roberto.
you, Roberto. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next up is a request to concur with administration and extend bid 04/05-26, and that's for the Merriman Road 2016 maintenance season. WH Cannon is the vendor. The amount's $45,500. And just to note, that's been the same price for multiple years, and that's also a local vendor. And that's paid for out of special assessment.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mrs. Choate?
I'd like to, that we concur with the administration and extend bid 04/05-26 for the Merriman Road 2016 maintenance season through to WH Cannon in the amount of $45,500.
Been motioned by Ms. Choate, supported by Ms. Makowski. And this is to concur with administration and extend bid 04/05-26 for the Merriman Road 2016 maintenance season through WH Cannon in an amount of $45,500. Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. The next item that's up is, again, a kind of a creative cost saving, and there's 3 different motions required. So what I thought I would do is just have Lynn Conway come up and just give you a quick overview both for you and the public as far as what those actions are, and then address any questions and move forward with the request if we could, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah. Ms. Conway?
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
Tonight, the administration and I are excited to let you know that the city has the opportunity to realize a substantial savings over our existing alternative natural gas supplier contract with CenterPoint Energy, and also on the distribution fees that we currently pay Detroit Energy. To realize these savings, it would require council to consider 3 actions this evening. The first would be to pay the related early termination fees to terminate our existing natural gas contract with CenterPoint Energy, which expires on 3/31 of 2017. The second would be to enter into a 36-month fixed rate contract with Constellation Energy for the purchase of our natural gas. And the third would be, and lastly, would be to enter into a sole source contract with Constellation Energy for 36 months that would cover all fees related to the distribution of the natural gas for all our city buildings. Suzanne Marino and our city attorney, Mr. Hitchcock, has reviewed the contract, and they both agree with the administration's recommendation. We estimate that these actions would save the city approximately $68,000 over the term of the 2 agreements, which would end on June 30th of 2019. Any questions?
Any questions from council?
If I may,
Yes, Ms. Makowski.
we got this just before the meeting.
Supplemental, correct.
Yep, the supplemental memorandum. So if you could just hit me with the figures, it changed, it looks like it reduced to what we were thinking it would be.
We still don't have a final figure. Okay, this is estimated on today's market. Our final figure will be given to us in the morning, and then with council's permission this evening, the mayor and the clerk will sign that agreement. They're saying that based on today's market, that it's approximately $3.69 per MMBTU.
So if I may, so we're making the resolution to accept this, but what if the market has a big change, like 5% or 10%, or is there a cutoff where you guys say, oh, we better go back to council, this is more than we expected?
It's not likely, but we don't have to sign it. So we have all contracts, you have the ability to cancel within 30 days. So we
If it's not a savings, we
Yeah.
will not go through with it. And
Absolutely.
it might even wind up being more of a savings. We're not sure based on what the rates will be tomorrow, but we kind of hope that's the case.
It's not likely the rate would go up, but actually the amount that we would have to pay to terminate our existing contract would probably go down
Yes.
if the gas rates went up. So it should be a wash, but
Thank you for your work on this. This package was very well put together, and I appreciate your efforts to save us
You-
money.
And also, if I could, Mr. Chairman, Lynn, she worked very hard, and, you know, it's another good creative way that helps save the city, and it's the same natural gas coming through that line, so nothing but gain from our city standpoint, so. That's what you have before you. There's 3 motions, as Lynn mentioned. So the first one is a request to concur with administration, authorize the mayor and clerk to terminate our existing contract with CenterPoint Energy, and permission to pay the early termination fees provided in the terms of the contract ending March 31st of 17.
I'll
So-
make that motion.
I'll support it.
It's been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Mr. Wadsworth. And this is, that's to concur with the administration, authorize the mayor and clerk to terminate our existing contract with CenterPoint Energy and permission to pay an early termination fees as provided in the terms of the contract ending March the 31st, 2017. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. The second motion required is one to concur with the administration and authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into a 36-month fixed-rate natural gas supply agreement with Constellation Energy for the term beginning July 1, 2016 through June 30th of 19.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Abdo, and this is to concur with the administration and authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into a 36-month, This is to concur with the administration, authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into a 36-month fixed rate national gas supply agreement with the Constellation Energy for the term beginning July the 1st, 2016 through June the 30th, 2019. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Makowski,
Yes.
Ms. Abdo,
Yes.
Ms. Choate,
Yes.
Mr. Kraut,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion is approved.
Thank you, council. The last motion for that item is a request to concur with administration, authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into a 36-month distribution service with Ritter Constellation Energy for the distribution portion of the natural gas to all city buildings, term again from July 1 of 16 through June 30th of 19.
Support.
The motion by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Abdo, to concur with administration, authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into a 36-month distribution services rider with the Constellation Energy for distribution of natural gas to all city buildings for the term beginning July 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2019. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Makowski,
Yes.
Ms. Abdo,
Yes.
Ms. Choate,
Yes.
Mr. Kraut,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion is approved.
Thank you, council. And last item for action is a request to move donations received from the 15-16 fiscal year into fund balance to a capital outlay budget to supplement an arch and gate purchase for our Romulus cemetery. And numbers are behind it in the memo.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms. Choate.
I'd like to make a motion that we move the donations received from the 15-16 fiscal year in fund balance to the capital outlay budget to supplement the arch and the gate purchase for the cemetery.
I'll support.
Been motioned by Ms. Choate, supported by Mr. Kraut, to move the donations received in the 15/16 fiscal year in the fund balance to the capital outlay budget to supplement the arch and gate purchase for the cemetery. Any
And this-
discussion?
And this was an introduction.
Introduction.
Correct.
Any other discussion? Ms. Abdo?
Yes, I just want to thank Ms. Lemon for all her hard work in helping raise money to do this.
Yes, okay. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Votes yes, the motion is approved.
Other than an item of information provided in your packet, that concludes my report. Thank you, council.
Thank you.
6A is the clerk's report. 6A1 is a study session request. The city treasurer, Stacy Page, is requesting a study session for Monday, June 13th, 2016, at 7:15 to discuss the city third quarter investments.
So moved. Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Roscoe. And this is for a study session request from our city treasurer, Stacy Page, to discuss the third quarter investments. And that date is June the 13th at 7:15. Ms. Makowski,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Mr. Kraut.
Yes.
Ms. Choate.
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
6A2 is a request for a resolution per the recommendation of the Planning Commission. City Planner Carol Mays is requesting that City Council adopt a resolution to approve the request to distribute the preliminary draft of the City of Romulus Master Plan.
So move for the preliminary draft of the city master
So
plan.
moved. Support.
Been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Mr. Kraut, and this is for this resolution to distribute preliminary draft of the City of Romulus, a master plan. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Last item under the clerk's report is another study session request. Economic Development Director Tim Keys is requesting a 1-hour study session for Monday, June 13th, 2016 at 6:15, and this is to discuss the 34th District Court project.
So moved.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Roscoe, and this is for a study session request from Economic Development Director Tim Keys to discuss the 34th District Court project. And that's
Mr.
dated
Chairman?
June the 13th
Sorry.
at 6:15.
If I could,
Yes.
the intent of that is just a study session. We don't plan to have any action at that meeting. So this is an update from the prior action that council had approved with the court, kind of a change in coming back with a different plan. If anyone for some reason cannot make that meeting, we'll make sure that we do some separate means, so everybody gets the same information. I would anticipate down the road requesting action to change from the prior direction that you've given us. So this is just a study session, nothing on that particular meeting that evening to vote on.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Mr. Chair and Council, before I close out the clerk's report, I have two memorial resolutions. One is for a Perry Gray who passed away on May the 23rd, 2016. And if I can get a motion for
I'll
a
make that
resolution.
I'll support it.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Mr. Kraut, for Mr. Gray's memorial resolution. Ms. Abdo,
Yes.
Mr. Kraut,
Yes.
Ms. Choate,
Yes.
Ms. Makowski,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
And the second memorial resolution, I'm asking council if you would adopt a memorial resolution for Richard Green. Actually, it's the Reverend Richard Green Jr. He was a member of the Community Baptist Church, and he was very active in the community, and so this is kind of unexpected, you know, his passing.
I make the
So,
motion.
I'll support it.
Thank
The
you.
motion by Mr. Kraut, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, for a resolution for Mr. Reverend, Mr. Green, Mr.
Richard Reed.
Mr. Richard Green, I'm sorry. Mr. Kraut,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council.
Pardon me.
Sorry, yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I don't think that we voted on this, on
No,
the
we haven't.
study session for the 34th court.
No, we haven't,
Okay.
no, we haven't voted on that.
We talked about it, but we moved on.
We're gonna vote on that now.
Okay. So move for a study session on the 34th
We,
district court.
We
sorry
already-
to interrupt, we did.
Yeah,
We did vote?
well, we did, we
We
voted,
did.
but we haven't had a roll call yet.
Oh,
And that's gonna take place right now. Ms. Makowski,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Mr. Kraut.
Yes.
Ms. Choate.
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved. Thank you.
I apologize, but I got us off track, and I just wanted to explain what the purpose of the study session was, Mr. Chairman, so apologize.
Other than some items for your information under the clerk's report, that does conclude the clerk's report.
Thank you.
6B is the treasurer's report.
Good evening. I do not have any items under my report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 7 is public comment, and this is a portion of the agenda that's set aside for those of you in the audience who have comments. If you have comments and would like to address council, please raise your hand. After you've been acknowledged by our chairperson, approach the podium, state your name and address. We ask that you please limit your comments to 3 minutes. If you have questions that you would like council to address, please note that those questions will be answered under unfinished business. Thank you. Mr. Chair, we do not have any written request.
Any comments from the audience? No comments from the audience? We'll close that part out. Madam Clerk?
Thank you. 8 is unfinished business.
Yes.
Yes, Ms. Abdo.
I just want to remind people that the Romulus Historical Society Flea Market is this Saturday, and the information's on the website if you want to rent a table, or if you just want to come down and support the Historical Society and maybe buy something from one of the vendors there. Saturday from 8 to 5. That's it.
Okay, I just like to make an announcement. I just like to, it's always a pleasure to acknowledge our St. John Lodge brothers in the audience, and that's Mr. Wooden and Mr. Jones. Okay, that's all I have. Okay.
If there's no more unfinished business, then number 9 is new business.
Mr. Barton,
Yes, Mr. Wadsworth.
if I could now talk to the mayor on this issue, and I'd like to talk about a vacant home. It's on Michelle, 35030 Michelle. Mayor, in the past couple months, I came to you with 2 different spots about the Middlebelt Flea Market, and there was a home in, I believe it was on Greenview, and you took care of it quite well, and people were quite pleased. This home is vacant. I looked at it last week. It's got a gate on it. It's just, up, down in half, and the backyard needs to be cut. There's neighbors there that have been there for 38, 39 years. You look at their homes, their front yard is like green carpet, and I don't believe they deserve to have to look at this. And I understand that there has been some talk about fixing it up, but the guy that either the bank has it but it's not being done. I looked at it last Wednesday, and it's bad. It's bad. It needs to be fixed.
I appreciate it, Mr. Chairman. We'll dig in. We're aware of that house, and we'll make sure that we address it as much as possible. Thank you.
In fact, like I say, I looked at it this week, and if you stand right at the intersection, you look all around, everybody's got a beautiful looking home.
It sticks
and
out
this
like a sore
Sticks out, and it's bad.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing that up. Appreciate it.
Is there any more new business? Number 10 is communication. Mr. Chair?
Yes, Ms.
Under communication, this is a busy week for Romulus High School students. So we want to wish the class of 2016 congratulations. Graduation, I believe, is this Saturday. Correct, Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Yes, it's this Saturday. Also, there's the prom toast going on. So there's a busy week for the graduates, but we'd like to congratulate all the graduates of the class of 2016.
Yes, I agree with you, Ms. Clerk.
If there's no more communication, number 11 is adjournment.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for adjournment. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Mikowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. We are adjourned. Thank you.